Hey, what's up? I wanted to show y'all how to replace an axle today. Gonna need jack stands, wrench set, preferably a torque wrench, a couple breaker bars, something for the lug nuts, pry bar. You'll want to buy the new seal for the axle, pry bar, and there's my shitty Walmart socket set. You're also going to want your axle. I know it's I don't know how I sound right now, but excuse the messy garage. Alright, so obviously first step in any most repairs is cracking your lug nuts real quick. So I'm just gonna set the camera down and show you that. The jack stand, I mean. Starting to lift the car up. Starting to bend the bar. Looks like I got it. Alright, it's on the jack stand now. Rear wheel off, and this nut's loosened, and I had to bend this metal out right here. I don't know if you can see that, but before, this metal was indented into this little groove so that way it couldn't back it off while you're driving. So I bent this out with a screwdriver, and then I used that trolley jack on the breaker bar to get enough ooga doogas to rotate that bitch off. So I'm just gonna take the axle nut completely off now. Or I'll just leave it there for a second because we have to get the steering knuckle out of the way to actually pull this axle out. And I'm making sure there's no tension on the brake line here because that could ruin your brake line. I did touch it, so I'm gonna need to use some brake clean on it when I'm done. Alright, so I got a 7/8 on one side, and I have the proper 22 mil on the other, and you have to hold the other side of the bolt as you loosen it, or else it'll keep turning. You can also just do this with like an adjustable spanner or something if you don't have two sockets like this. Alright, so I got both of those strut bolts out. Right now I'm going to disconnect the ABS wire thing here. And I probably should take it out of this clip up here. See how this works. It looks like it's just secured with one bolt. It's probably a 10mm, this bolt right here, so I'm just going to disconnect this clip so I don't ruin the wiring right there. I'm also going to take this little dust shield off. It's secured by two 10 mils. So let's continue taking this nut off. And I'll get right back to you when I get it off. Okay, I just slid the axle out and I got the bolt loosened. Had to finagle it a bit. But now we're to the point where I am gonna need to pry this out of the transaxle. And make sure you got a drain bucket under it because it will leak some transmission fluid. So here's what I'm doing. I'm taking my pry bar, going up here and just trying to pry it straight out of the transaxle like this. And I'll get back to you once I've got it successfully pried out. Okay, so first off, that was a lot harder than I thought it'd be, considering it's nighttime. But I finally got this stupid fucking axle out of here. And here it is, just kind of hanging out. As you can see, the transaxle's got nothing in it. And I finally popped it out by... Let me see if I can adjust this light. I popped it out by getting this pry bar right up in there like that, and I put my foot on the bottom of it. I swore for a couple minutes, and then it kind of popped right out after that. So now I'm gonna try to replace this seal real quick and throw a new axle on there. Alright, so I just popped that seal out. There it is. Hurt my hand pretty bad in the process, but I'll keep chugging along here. Check this new seal out. So seals, just kind of walk it in there if you can. Alright, so I've lost some of my mental sanity a little bit, but I got that seal in there. And here's my new axle. There's the old one. I'm just gonna try to shove this in. Okay, so I just popped it back in. Only took maybe a minute. And all I did is I put this bar right here, and I used a hammer right where my hand is, and I just hammered that in. I didn't want to hammer this side in because I was worried about damaging the threads. Only took me maybe 3 minutes to get it in. Okay, so the GoPro died, so you might notice a drastic change in camera quality. But once again, there's our old axle right there. New one's in the transmission, fully secured. Let's see here. Looks like this axle requires a cotter pin, unlike the old one, which required bending the metal into the slot. So here's the old one. And here's that little indentation right there. See that little indentation? The axle nut I used to punch to bend the metal on the rim into that indentation. It was right there. I bent it with a punch and a hammer into that little slot. But this one's secured by a cotter pin, which I've got plenty of, so it's not a big deal. And I'll just line it up, and I'm gonna put the caliper back on and everything. I already put the strut bolts back in, but now I'm gonna put the brakes back on and start her up and see if I get any ABS errors. And if I do get an ABS error, you can be expecting a new video soon on how to do the ABS wire. So anyways, I'm gonna patch her up, and maybe I'll take some footage in the morning, I'm not sure, but anywho, I'm signing off, and I hope this helped you. Bye.